Lauren Boebert is currently in a battle, as everyone else is in the House, to get reelected. And she is currently leading, although the polls have it pretty close. Now, understand, she has to stand up against not just the attacks from the Democrat, Adam Frisch, who's running against her, but also the Republican that she beat in the primary, who has already endorsed Adam Frisch. You might well know that. But that Republican has now put out yet another op-ed attacking Lauren Boebert and using a little bit of underhanded attacks maybe. I'm gonna read a little bit of it and you decide for yourself. So it says that Boebert spends her time jet setting around the country, promoting herself and extreme rhetoric that only divides this country further. I think that that's fair. This is from Don Coram, by the way, is the Republican who'd been in the primary against her. It's disgraceful and we should expect more from our United States representative. Let's elect someone who cares about representing the majority of people in the middle that are fed up with extreme partisanship and juvenile antics. Join me in voting for Adam Frisch for Congress. So that's fairly indisputable. She is a massive self-promoter. She doesn't care about being a legislator. She wants to host a Fox News show, whatever. But then Don Coram decides to invoke the specter of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and not in a way that we're probably gonna like. Goes on to say that voters should be worried about the ills of politicians putting their interests before the overall interest of the republic. Goes on to say, sadly, we are at a time when it seems neither party nor their loudest voices have the highest interest of our nation at heart. The proof lies in candidates like AOC and Colorado's own Lauren Boebert, who are the poster children for what President Washington feared. Okay, well that's where you lose me, and it's a reminder that this guy's a Republican. He doesn't like Lauren Boebert, and I get that. We can like toast to that perhaps, but the idea, and we have to keep fighting against this because this is a complicated thing for people to understand. Because they look at Lauren Boebert and they say, oh, she's a woman and she's young, and then they look at AOC and they say, oh, she's a woman, she's young. I guess that's the only things we can compare or differentiate based on. If you're the same on those two things, then you're the same on everything, even though in this case, they could not be more different. I hate seeing those two lumped together, but that's what Don Coram is deciding to do in an attempt to hurt Lauren Boebert. Jayar, what do you think?
First of all, what President Washington feared was losing his slaves, first of all. But outside of that, what it was this is a way for him to try and equate it. And anytime anybody on the Republican side, I believe even I'm blanking on his name, he's gotten into fights with Republicans all the time. He pushed back on Marjorie Taylor Greene, the war veteran who had the eye patch and everything.
Oh,
like
Dan
that.
Crenshaw.
Crenshaw, he likes to push back on Republicans and their insanity, but it's always with this equation of she's just like AOC, she's just like whoever else we hate, so they cannot be labeled the rhino. That they'll immediately be labeled. You're promoting Democrats. Anytime you bash Republicans don't attack Republicans. All those, all those political things that we all like to say. You have to make sure you equate it. So you're like, I just don't like that one Republican, just like we all don't like every Democrat. And then they're safe. So he can avoid the labels that Donald Trump will definitely push on him, or people like him considering Boebert as a Trumper. So you have to make sure you protect yourself from being labeled a rhino. Sure. That's all this was. He doesn't even know what he's mad about AOC over. It's just he knows AOC is the poster child for hate anytime you want to say it and bring up the Green New Deal, even though nothing is happening with that either.
Yeah, and like it's just people are like, well, they both have dark hair. I guess they're the same. I guess like AOC became like a star basically because she came in the door and instantly protested outside of Nancy Pelosi's office to get the Democratic Party to care about climate change. It was based on substance. It was based on an actual problem and a real solution. I don't understand why it's so hard to get people to understand the difference between those two things. I get that the critics of AOC have focused on non-substance as much as possible, losing their minds because she once danced or something. But that's not what AOC is focused on. AOC is focused on dealing with the climate crisis and related issues.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.